Hello, it's DJ Stosh here again, and I wanted to continue the series I started in my last video where I was going through the records that were in my IKEA Expedit behind the black doors. So in the last video I showed the albums by the numbered bands through A. Now I'm going to continue with the B albums. So I think there might be about 20 of these, maybe 15, 16. The first one in the B's is Bauhaus, The Sky's Gone Out. This is a Canadian pressing on Vertigo. I bought this, I think, for about 10 bucks in the 80s at a local store. And I don't know if you can see the textured cover there, but it's really kind of a neat textured cover. It's a different cover design than the UK pressing. And it's a double LP. So inside you have the album proper with band photos on the inner sleeve, the lyrics on the other side. Just kind of a white label, not too exciting there. This one's a little bit neater though. This is a Ziggy Stardust and then 2 studio tracks on the other side. And the label on this one has a custom Bauhaus Ziggy Stardust face on it, which I think is pretty cool. Then the other side just has the regular Bauhaus logo. Okay, next up are a couple of Be-Bop Deluxe records. First of all, I have Futurama here. This is pretty good shape, and it is a Harvest pressing, I believe. It's got that nice inner sleeve with the lyrics. And it's on the yellow and green Harvest label. Be-Bop Deluxe are a great band. Bill Nelson's first band, kind of proggy, poppy, rock music. Just incredibly well played, really creative stuff. Always liked it. I also have this copy of their third LP, Sunburst Finish. Really nice cover design. This is on the Green Capital label. I think this might be a US pressing. And it's got a really small cutout here on the side. Not too big a deal. Both of these albums are great, but I think I like Sunburst Finish the best, and I have all of their stuff on CD. I'm still trying to collect it all on vinyl. Next up is a Heidi Berry record. This is not the only Heidi Berry record I have. It's just the only one in the IKEA cabinet right now. And this is called Love. I think it's from 1989. It's got really nice cover art. It's on 4AD, has some calligraphy on it. It's got some interesting compositions, probably by Von Oliver. And then the theme is continued on the inner sleeve. And the track credits are listed on the other side of the inner sleeve. In case anybody's curious, here's what the label looks like on this one. Got a little bit of dust on it there. Good record. I would say the highlight on that one is a cover of Husker Du's Up in the Air that they do, or that she does, which I like quite a bit. The rest of the album's pretty good, but as a whole, I don't think it's as good as her fourth album, Miracle, which is my favorite one by her. Okay, next up is a record that I believe I bought when Campus Records went out of business back in the early 90s. They were giving stuff away dirt cheap, Ralph label albums and Creation and other stuff. So I believe this is where I got this Biff Bang Pow record. It's called Love Is Forever. Got a pair of female arms with lipstick on the front and back. And then you have some photos on the inner sleeve. So it's got a custom inner sleeve. It's on a white Creation label. I don't know if you can see this or not. If I hold this up to the light, maybe it's actually on translucent brown vinyl. So either it's an audiophile pressing or just an early pressing. And of course, Biff Bang Pow was Creation label founder Alan McGee's band. And the Boostics have a song called I Know Someone Who Knows Someone Who Knows Alan McGee Quite Well. Next up is a Big Country record that I bought in England in 1985 when I traveled there with our high school band. I got this copy of their debut LP, The Crossing. There were, I think, 3 different cover designs or different colors. There was this green one, which is pretty scarce, and then there was red and silver, I'm sorry, blue. The blue and silver, and I think the red also has silver, and the green has gold leaf on it. And the gold leaf is on the front and the back. It's a really beautiful cover design. Inside has lyrics. Hasn't been played that much because back in the day I used to dub LPs pretty much after I played them the first time, so I'm sure this got dubbed, and I listened to it here at the office not too long ago and it sounded really good. So this one's in my permanent collection. It's one of my treasured LPs. Okay, next up is a soundtrack LP. This is a soundtrack commissioned by Kevin McAllister, the director of a film called The Dungeon Masters, and the music is performed by Blonde Redhead, and it's a very, very nicely put together album. I don't know how well you can see that, but it's a really solid jacket. That's what it looks like on the inside. It's electronic compositions. They're really, really good. I was surprised that they're as good as they are for what was kind of a, one-off soundtrack. Anyway, I just looked on Discogs, and the cheapest one of these selling there is $140, but I bought it off of a website, I think the record label's website, which is Standard Pictures, and it was about $25, and you could probably still get it from their website. And the purchase of the album benefits a charity called Knowledge is Power, so I thought that was pretty cool. So don't pay $140 if you can avoid it. But it is a really neat Blonde Redhead artifact too, if you like that band, which I do. So it's one of my favored ones there. And then here we have a 12-inch single by Book of Love, Pretty Boys and Pretty Girls. It's got a great 14-minute remix of Tubular Bells, Pretty Boys and Pretty Girls called the Regan's House Medley. I like to break that out once in a while and play it. Okay, next up is a Florida band from Fort Lauderdale, the Bobs. I'm not going to take this one out, but here's what their EP looks like. This is the first one. It's on Safety Net Records. Picked this up for $1. You can see the sale price sticker still on it. I believe at a flea market back in the 80s. It's pretty quirky stuff, guitar-based, punky sort of pop. Kind of reminds me a little bit of XTC or The Police. It's got witty lyrics, some really funny lines in here actually. Good album to have. Their second album is not nearly as good as this. It's called White Gazebo, and I have that too, but I recommend picking this one up, their first, if you see it. Okay, next up in the Bees is an album by the Alan Baczynski Quintet. It's called The Night. It's a digital recording, and it's one of the best sounding albums in my collection. That's what the inner label looks like. It's pretty much straight ahead jazz. There's a little bit of swing in it, some bop. You'd think maybe from this period it would be fusion, but it's not. It's recorded, I think, in the mid to late 80s. Picked that up on the cheap a long time ago, and I've kept it ever since. Okay, the next album is a double album by Boom Bip. It's called Blue Eyed in the Red Room. You wouldn't know that just by looking at it, because I don't think the title is on here, although it might be in all this swirly stuff right here. It's kind of hard for me to read. This is a die cut album. It's also got some foil on it. It's got what looks like smoke cigarette stains on the front and back, but that's part of the cover design. And it looks like I took the albums out of the inner sleeves and put them in mobile fidelity sleeves. So this is what the inner sleeves look like. This is kind of trippy electronic stuff mostly, and Gruff Wrist sings on one of the tracks, the guy from Super Furry Animals. So I did enjoy it. I haven't played it in a while. I archived it a long time ago and need to break that out and listen to it again sometime. Okay, next up are 3 albums by the band Breathless, which is Dominique Appleton's band from This Mortal Coil. He sang on, I think, the first two This Mortal Coil LPs. This one is called The Glass Bead Game. It's got really nice abstract cover art. Inner sleeve looks like this. It's on the Tenor Vossa label. The labels on this one are actually pretty attractive too. So good music. Can be a little samey at times. If you've heard what he sounds like in This Mortal Coil, this band does not sound anything like that. It's kind of more of a rock-based band, sort of post-punk stuff. Sorry about that. I was really struggling to get that one back in the sleeve, so I just cut the video off. Here's another EP by Breathless. This is called 2 Days from Eden. This is also on the Tenor Vossa label. And then the last LP I have by them is called 3 Times and Waving. And it has a nice Jean Dubuffet cover. It's this is probably the best one out of the 3 LPs that I just showed. So anyway, they're all good. Pick them up if you see them anywhere. Usually you can find their music for not too expensive. Next up, we've got 2 records left. Here is one that's filed under B for Bud. It is Bud, Elizabeth Fraser, Robin Guthrie, and Simon Raymond. So I have it filed under B. Of course, those other 3 are members of the Cocteau Twins. So that's what the outside looks like. This is what the inside looks like. And what you have here is a mid-80s, well, 1986 period Cocteau Twins record with a couple of Harold Budd songs sandwiched in between the Cocteau Twins songs on each side of the album. And it all works amazingly well. And it's really good music to go to sleep by. I used to have this CD in my player, and I would just play it every night to go to bed, and it's good for that, but it's good foreground music too if you want to listen to it that way. Okay, up last in the B's is a real treat. This one I think I paid about $4 or $5 for back in the 80s. This is Kate Bush's Hounds of Love. So it looks like a normal copy there. It's got the nice glossy photo on the cover and on the back. The front cover photo is a little bit out of focus. The back one is not. Bear with me for a moment here. So the inner sleeve looks like this if you've never seen it. And here's the excitement. It is a marbled vinyl pressing, which to me it looks kind of like a lavender color. I think on Discogs they actually call this pink vinyl. And it's really, really beautiful. And it sounds good too. You wouldn't think that it would sound as good as it does, but sounds quite good. This is one of my favorite Kate Bush albums. My all-time favorite is probably still The Dreaming. But this one has great songs on it. Most of the more top 40 or bigger hits are on the A side. So you've got Running Up That Hill and The Big Sky and so forth. The B side has a lot of interesting stuff, or the second side has a lot of interesting stuff like Jig of Life and Hello Earth, the music of which I believe was used in Werner Herzog's Nosferatu. And it's just, it flows really well together. Waking the Witch is a great track. I play that during my Halloween sets. So I'm going to wrap this up with the Kate Bush record, Hounds of Love, and in the next video I will begin showing you the C's in my collection. So if you like the video, please do subscribe to my channel, and I look forward to talking to you guys at some point in the future.